Hey everybody, we will be with you shortly.
Okay, let's just...
Good morning, everybody. That's the show intro. Again, started a little late today. Bear with us. We'll be on the air in about a minute. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hey, the crowd in the back here, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. So glad to be hosting another episode of this wonderful award-winning show called DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. It is Monday, February 10th, 2025. Almost to Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. I saw the stores this weekend setting up for Christmas. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's how ahead of everything is nowadays. But it's only Monday, and we got a lot to talk about this week. Big week for crypto. We had a crazy weekend of prices. We got the CPI is coming out this week, and I mentioned that the CPI because you need to concentrate on what your stop order is doing so you don't get stopped out by crazy trading and volatility on that day. I'm also waiting for Pedro to show up here. That's not Pedro, ladies and gentlemen, the bald guy there. It's just not him. And so we're going to have a good show for you today. It is new title for the show today. Yeah, that's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta keep adapting with the times. It's no longer Meme Coin Monday. Yeah, that's right. It is Make Money Monday. Make Money Monday. But meme coins too. And so we gotta change things up a little bit. We gotta get the algorithm in our favor in that. So well, here comes Pedro. Pedro's gonna get his headset on, and then he'll hear me say, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Make Money Monday, not Meme Coin Monday, although we're going to talk memes because it is Monday. But welcome everyone to joining us. Space Cat, thanks for joining us at the show here. Crypto Mike, thanks for joining us at the show. And Pedro Garcia, welcome to the house. Pedro, my co-host. What's happening, Pedro?
What's up, my people? It is good to see every one of you guys. You guys rock the mic. This show would not be here without you guys drawing us every single day back. They keep pulling me back.
You try to get out and they pull you back in.
Pull you back.
That was like my old business that I was in for a while. I tried to get out of it once and it couldn't happen. Pulled me back in. And then after Pedro, I closed my own company in Chicago. And then Canada called and the industry pulled me back in, and now I'm in crypto and that. And just watching some videos over the weekend that involved the president of Serbia, along with the motorcade stuff for the United States. It's just the urge to go back into the armored vehicle business was strong. It just pulls me back in, just like the mafia does. Well, that's like anything that you're good at or you love a lot, like just like this show. It pulls you back in, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we've got Space Cat and Crypto Mike in the house today. Let's see if we can get their comments on the screen here. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see. Where is their comment? Good day, everyone. Oh, I got the meme coins up there too. Good day, everyone from Space Cat. A good day, everybody from Crypto Mike. Thanks for joining us all the way from the Peg, or just west of the Peg. Mike, did you watch the Super Bowl this weekend? Pedro, did you watch it last night? Oh, you're on mute.
I did, and I feel so bad for the Chiefs. To watch Mahomes sit there. I'm not a Chiefs fan. Dude, right, dude. You could just see, bro. That defense, bro, was so solid. Like, I think it was 7 times, bro, he got sacked. I was just like, oh, dear Lord. And then to watch him.
Dear Lord.
Like, dude, the first 2 times he got sacked, I sat there and I said, there's no way he's not going to feel safe to stay in the pocket to toss. There's no way. And that's his MO, right? He sits there, he looks, boom, pop, right? I mean, he's not a Tom Brady, right? And he has that bum ankle from, I think 2 years ago. So it's like, it's just one of those things, man. It sucked. And you would have thought that he would have prepped for more of that, because everybody knew that line was absolutely atrocious. And his line was not necessarily, I mean, they weren't big dudes. So, anyways.
How about the offensive line for the Eagles? I mean, my God, those guys are all 340 pounds, and they were like a scrum, like a rugby scrum. They were like 4 yards from the end zone, and they just pushed in. They're like, me hungry. There's food on the other side of line. And look, the what's his name? Their running back just waltzes in behind him. I mean, it was nuts. Tazzy Zig, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate coming back here. It is Make Money Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Make Money Monday. So you want to learn how to make money? Well, you may not be the best spot yet, but if you stick with us, I'm starting down that road of being more involved in the trading world day to day. Although Pedro, I had a good one today. I had a good one on BTC. The 30-minute chart was looking good. Moving averages were looking good. The blah 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 is looking good. Put in a nice, safe, secure stop order. I put it in where I thought it was a good spot, and sure enough, like 2 ticks after I started it wicked my stop order out, and then proceeded to go right up to where I thought it was going to go. I was like, beep, beep. Got to hit the dump button there. I was like, and now, it hit my goals. It wicked down, and got me, and then went right up, and I was just like, you bastards.
That's what I'm always huge about. Understanding. Remember, execution is more important than even like knowing how to. If somebody's a good executor, I've seen traders who suck at trading, but they're excellent at the execution of what they know. And it is phenomenal to sit there and watch them just like when they should be looking to short, they'll go long, but because they're so good at what their niche, they make money, and then they get out. And that's why I talk to people about, like, look, take 70%. If you're in the profit right? Take 70% of that, right? Make sure, that's why I always do 1-to-1. That's why I'm huge about, like, I'm pretty positive it went your way for a minute, right? And that's why you kind of like, oh, okay, cool. And then it came back and wigged you out, right? Or am I wrong?
No, the trades, I opened the trade and it just, I was up $10 and then it was zero and then it was minus $5, then it was zero. And then it just went, it was like I was the big whale they were trying to take out. And of course I only had $100 on the trade, so it wasn't like I was a big whale. And it just went boop, wick down, got it. That wick, or that candle closed off about halfway between the bottom of the wick and where I entered. And then the next wick, I think I was on the 5-minute chart. It just started going boop, 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 just like the plan. And I was like, beep. Anyway, but that's the tax. You put your stop order in where you think it is and you learn from it. And yeah, well, while you're munching, I'm going to put you on the back screen. Wait, this one.
I'm sorry. It's just that I had this.
You got to eat before the show.
Problem is, if I eat before the show, then by the end of the show, I start to get tired because I'm using I'm talking a lot.
Here we go. While he's eating.
And here's the part that's so hard. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. So the reason why I say this is if I don't eat during the show, by the end of the show, because I'm analyzing charts, I am going through and I'm talking to you, it takes a lot of mental.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you.
And imagine doing and then the other part is the added stress of I don't want to steer you guys communicating to you which way the market will most likely go. And and so for me, it's so important to really stay on to make sure that my brain is fully active. I'm in it. I'm not getting tired by the end where I'm yawning and I'm just my brain starts to it takes a lot of energy to really stay active, entertaining, at the same time, analytical, and that's hard. That's very hard.
It is hard. I agree with that, Pedro, completely. Let's see. What does Space Cats mention this comment? You have to pick your investments very wisely, but there will be the odd good investment out there, and the odd bad one too. AI Alpha Wolf, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Alpha Wolf continuing to plan on what to do with his CTO token. He's going to have a new plan for it coming up. I think, Alpha Wolf, we're trying to coordinate to have you talk about it on today's show, but I don't think that's going to work because you're changing up the plan or something like that. Anyway, just keep us in the loop. We'll bring you on. You can talk about your changes. Only up in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Only up. Let me get this back going here. Fit the chewing monster. Did anyone know the group The Avalanches? The Avalanches.
Avalanche.
The Avalanches, not Avalanche. The Avalanches have this song called The Hungry Eater. No, the Noisy Eater, I mean, not the Hungry Eater. The Noisy Eater.
I'm a noisy eater.
In my studio feed is, like you guys always know, it's a little different sound than what goes out to you guys. So I hear every bite. Bye. All right,
here we go.
All right, I'm changing things up a little bit here. Let's bring up Bitcoin here. What is going on with the Bitcoin, Pedro?
Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is basically, so the altcoins are showing most likely what Bitcoin's going to be ended up doing. So XCN, as my guy here shorted it, decided he was going to go long and said, nope, he's going to short this. So he went short. Shout out to my guy out there who did it. Whoop, whoop, getting better at trading. That's what I'm talking about. Reading the tea leaves over here. Saw that the trend was weakening. He looked at his 15-minute and said, this thing's most likely going to drop here.
Looked at it, said, El no worko. Let's get this bitch out of here. I'll tell that story in it when after you get done with Bitcoin, and I'll talk about my advancements and how it helped me out today.
Nice. So now check this out. We got Bitcoin here consolidating. We saw it go up first. We saw that the tariffs for the commander-in-chief said he's going to tariff people over on Friday. We saw the sell-off on S&P 500 as well as a nice little sell-off on BTC here. We saw it going up on Friday, and then the sell-off at the end of the day saying we are going to tax or tariff, excuse me, China, and from there we saw the sell-off. So hence we saw a sell-off in BTC. We talked about I don't trust this push up. I would look to be shorting this levels here as it comes down. We talked about two levels here being the 100-day period moving average, which is a dynamic level that could potentially move. So that was a level I said pay attention to. And additionally to that, this lower level here sitting at that 88, 87 area. Again, we see a big push up today, but the problem is where's the volume?
Where's the beef?
The volume? You got it. Yeah. Where's the volume here? So if I could sound like a grandma, where's the volume?
Well, I got some interesting. I got an article to talk about volume too when we're done with this also. Absolutely.
So you can see here that this area right here is showing weakness. We pierced through this 100. And I'm expecting to see some weakness come in. I always talk about if we see it go up in the first of the week, expect it to go down at the end of the week. Now, obviously, last week was a little bit different, right? We saw Sunday sell-off and Monday rally. So that was always kind of a mixed bag. But typically, it will go sideways if this does happen. And it's kind of like what we saw. Kind of saw it go kind of sideways here. In between that 100 to 97,000 area, 96,000 area. So, but the fact is that we kind of have a clear sign here of Monday going up, Tuesday going up. So basically it means Wednesday to go down, Thursday to go down, and maybe Friday will probably be a pullback, literally because people are taking profits for the week. And remember, there's still many other products out there that only trade Monday through Friday or Sunday morning or Sunday evening through Friday. That has a huge influence on Bitcoin at large for the coin. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those small subtleties like that. And we can see the market move. So one of the things I'm looking at is where are we potentially can see the market sell off? And let's go into that here real quick. Okay, so this area here, we could see it go up into this level here. And this area is between that 102 to the 101, right? And additionally to that, if we look on the weekly chart, because it's the start of the week, there we go. It's the start of the week. If we do get up there, then I would suggest we're probably going to see a sell-off because this is the top of the wick of last week's doji. Okay, and this week we actually have a sequential transitional going from the first week to the second week that sets up for the third and fourth week. Okay, so last week was a doji where we're going to then fluctuate, much like the first time I ever talked to Tom here, a ping pong effect, most likely. So I would expect us to see it potentially go up, potentially come into two areas. One, the 98,000, 97,000 area that we're at right now, and then seeing a sell-off come down into the lower level of 89 to 90,000, which we might come and test the lower markers of last week, and potentially maybe even see a small flash sell-off to that 89,000 again. Or,
ladies and gentlemen, or the good stuff could go up.
Yeah, or we could see it go up into that 102, 101 area, and then kind of consolidate back down and put in, again, another doji that would be similar, but it would be a higher doji that would look something kind of like this. Boom. Obviously, this is a weekly thing, but it would look something similar, and this would be green. One second. And it looks something kind of like this. Come on, buddy.
What are you drawing there? Looks like a torture device of some sort.
I'm trying to draw a candle here, so just to prove a point. Basically, we come up to here, see it come up to this area right here, hit this, and sell off, and we would see something like this on the weekly chart, right? And kind of see it. I'm not bullish on this week because it's setting up for the rest of the week. We had the doji from the first week of February into the market here. And they didn't really give us much indecision, or didn't really give us much decision here, right? In regards to the market, except that it shows more bearish pressure. Into this second week, we're going up, which means that we'll probably end up down. But I want to show both sides so that you guys can be prepared for both sides in case what we're going to do. On the back end, if let's say China sits there and goes, hey guys, we're going to work with you and we're not going to sit there and fight against you, and we're going to try to really do some real business, I think it will chill the institutional markets, TradFi markets, which would then free up cash for and try to push the market up here and try to push the market up here and try to push the market up here. From a charting standpoint, we're kind of at this point where it doesn't really know what it's going to do. So I'm just trying to gauge. That's why I'm giving you two if and then this statement.
Ping or pong, it could do up or down. We know that every trade has the possibility, no matter what the odds are, that Pedro says it's going to go one direction, or I do because I'm learning, there's always odds that it's going the other direction. Without a doubt, both situations are possible, and it's up to us to learn how to best gauge which direction it's going to go and take our risks accordingly. And that's the get out of jail free clause for us, saying make sure you're making, while you're listening to us for education, make sure you make your own decisions on what to do with your money, because your money is your money, it's not our money. And everyone has their own risk factor. Pedro's is different than mine. Mine is different than AI Wolf's. That causes everyone to trade differently. Now, here's a great example. Go over to a demo account in any exchange, preferably our BitFi exchange down here, and see how much money you can make in a demo account. In a demo account, you can make 20 grand in 5 minutes. It's the easiest place to make money in the planet. And the reason is because you have your risk profile is 0. You can just say, I'm gonna bet the whole thing on red. Whoop, and look, you're up 20 grand. But when it's your own money and you gotta use that money to pay rent, suddenly your risk profile is different. And that's up to you to determine. And you gotta determine what your risk profile is on every trade. If you have $1,000 and you wanna bet $1,000 in every trade, that's a high risk profile. It's because you're soon gonna have no money. But if you bet, I shouldn't say bet, I should say if you trade $50 at a time, you have a low risk profile for your portfolio. And then each individual trade has a risk profile too. So are you doing a $50 on a high risk trade or $50 on a low risk trade? Makes a big difference in how long you can keep your back around. I know the hard way, but not anymore. Now that I got the man in the box above me teaching me. Things are moving up, except for the occasional dumb errors. Which, Pedro, I still do dumb things. Like I look at something like, oh, it's time to close that trade out, and I just click the wrong button and I market closed a larger trade that I had on instead of the small little play one. And it's just because you weren't stupid. Because I was stupid and didn't check what I was clicking first before I did it. And I was like, and of course the one I market closed has a thin market, so you get a bad price, right? So anyway, so in other words, what Pedro is telling us here, ladies and gentlemen, where we are with Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks, we've been in this trading zone from about 107 down to kind of 91,000, and really hasn't broken out really much above it. I mean, we hit our all-time high. We keep going lower in this box, I guess we call it. waiting for something to happen. And that waiting for something to happen is either to break out of the box and go lower down where Pedro was saying to 88, 89,000 or potentially 75,000. Or starting its walk up to 150,000. And somebody asked me this question the other day, saying, which I didn't answer on the air. They asked me in DMs. They said, "Tom, I don't get it. It's a $2 trillion market here in Bitcoin. Why are the market makers? Why can they so easily move the market around?" And the answer is because there's $2 trillion in the Bitcoin market, but very small amount of it's being traded. Most Bitcoin is buy and hold. Sailor, the ETFs, the US government version, Binance, all those types of stuff. All those people, and if you do wallet analysis of it, I have not done it, but the powers that be on the great Twitter X feed do it all the time. They show that very few Bitcoin wallets are actually active. They do buying, they do all types of things except selling. And so if a lot of people are holding and few people are trading, that means few people are able to influence the price because they don't have to worry about those big whales coming in and saying, "Oh, we're going to absorb all the orders." So, if someone goes and buys $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, it's going to move the market a lot. And that's 1/1000th, that's 1/2000th of the market, Okay, if you can believe $1 billion is 1/2000th of the market. And so you got to think about that for a minute and say, well, why aren't these guys trading? Because they're just buying and holding. They're just buying and holding. And that leaves what's left on the exchanges, and that leaves what's left at the miners to do it. And here's a good example. I was going to bring this article up here. No, not that one. Here, the other side of the spectrum, whales have been net distributing Bitcoin to exchanges since November 24th, offloading an average of 32,000 BTC a day, a 9 increase in potential sell side pressure compared to, that wasn't the article I wanted to say. Where is that article? No, that's a slow mist security one.
Wow, Tom is finding that. One of the things I want to bring up, and this is where I can point out what is actually happening here. So right now we're finding this period here where we're kind of in between a consolidation.
Where is that article?
And you can see right here that as the market is staying in between, you can see the tops here, and then the bottom sitting about right here to right up in this level here, right? Like you can see where is the majority, and this shows from December 24th, right here. You can see since actually even further, like even say right here, right where this is accumulation period. Now I want to make sure you understand that accumulation periods have 3 things that can actually happen. 1, accumulation, it goes up, that's good. 2, accumulation, it goes down, that's good. Now, even though this is going to be a 2-part 3 movement, or it can do this, it can go up, then down, okay? Or we can see it go down, then up. So we'll see it go down, then up. But accumulation periods typically are areas where people are buying, and they're I wouldn't say betting, because I think right now, and I've talked about this, between 100,000 and 10,000 to 5,000 Bitcoin is a steal. Even up to 250,000 if you consider the market over a period of 35 to 40 years.
Right. Long
Holders, because at 30 to 45 years from now, right, when me and Tom are in our 50s, and or still look like we're in our 50s, in the same sense.
By Pedro, by then the plastic surgery will be epic. They'll just reclone you as you were when you were 40. Like, how old are you? I'm 312 years old. Well, you look good. You look just like you're 40. Well, got cloned again last week.
not even that, I think what they're actually going to do is they're figuring out how to actually reverse the mitochondria aging process and add on to the telomeres through
I can't wait to see where that goes wrong. Yeah, we have the telomeres are regrowing. Unfortunately, you've got 6 heads.
Well, what's happening is it's because of the mitochondria, right? Gets degraded, then it messes with basically the telomeres. That's it in a nutshell, right? If they can go through and hold the integrity of the mitochondria and the energy producing, in essence, they can either keep you at your current age, wherever you're at, or you can go through and as your cells start to, as they keep, mitosis keeps happening, boom, 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 right? Not mitosis, what's that called? When they split. I'm not a biologist, but basically, when they mimic themselves, through the mimicking of it, right now, it slowly degrades every time it makes a copy of itself. What they're thinking is they can actually go through and actually each cellular copy, they can actually go through and add a little bit more to it through, and I don't know the full, like half of the stuff that I'm reading, I'm like, I really don't know what they're saying. I have to go and look it all up. But in essence, they're able to build up on your current cellular makeup.
Where are you going with this, Pedro? Does that mean to
What
see
were you
our $20 million BC because we're 200 years old?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 20 to 30 years, thank you. In 20 to 30 years, thank you, I went off on a total tangent there. In 20 to 30
well,
years.
I can, Pedro, I can see it in your eyes. As soon as I say something, I just go, oh, I made a critical error there. Because I know you like to talk about this, because off screen we've talked about telomerase and living longer and all that type of stuff. And as soon as I said that, I'm like, oh, that triggered him. And all of a sudden you're like, yes! And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I just think this stuff is, it's not even for the longevity.
No, I get it. It's interesting.
What's happening.
Just quickly.
It's all tech.
Sorry, quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro, you can't hear it, but I'm testing out different music in the back because I've regained the capability of using the great sound effects machine. And so if you find something to be annoying, let me know, because I have it on low in my ear, and if it's too loud, or if you're like, Tom, why are you listening to EDM music? Please let me know. But I'm going to be testing out a bunch of different things. So if you hear something dumb, say that's awful.
Alrighty, so I'm expecting us to see some moves here. So the reason why I really have this area of supply for Bitcoin is really because the market could come up, tap this area on the weekly chart. You have your 20 period moving average, which is where your 8 is sitting on your weekly, and basically come up, tap this, and then see the sell-off happen. So I don't want you guys to get too like just, hey, awesome. One being the volume here that we're seeing isn't full volume, and so I just don't want to see people caught up for this first week of just getting suckered, or the first part of the week. So just give you guys a heads up. So that's it in a nutshell. I want to talk about here. Now, one thing about meme coins, I want to talk, and I know it's Make Money Monday, but I think it's real interesting to see what's actually happening in the actual the markets in the meme coin area. Like, I think it's really interesting seeing the sell-off here, man, with Doge, and seeing it come down to these areas. I'm absolutely loving it. I think Elon Musk is definitely, I think he's going to do something. He's got to do something with Doge. He literally named an agency after it.
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so the fact that it's selling off and I'm watching it, like, I think it's any, like, just go through when you see a sell-off come in, again, it's not financial advice, but I'm doing it. Like, all right, Doge at, when it hit that 200 period moving average, okay, it's time to buy. Boom. When it comes through down here and it hits these core areas here, I think it's super important to be looking. Where's an area to buy? Boom, there you go. So it's just one of those things. I feel like I'm always, because I feel like in the next 20 years, as crypto really becomes mature, You know, just like people who bought, let's say, during the sell-off of the initial sell-off in tech, right? And when everything kind of settled out, I feel like that's that area that we're in right now. Like it's, you know, we're gonna see it push up and then sell off again multiple times. But like Elon Musk, I don't think he's going anywhere. What he supports, I don't think and I think he will defend that point because he's.
I mean, price-wise, he'll pump money into it to keep a floor in it?
Yeah, and the reason why I say it, because it's tied to his name.
True, you don't want to see it. Right, that's a good point. If it were to go to 1 cent and everyone's 90% of the wallets are in losses, then the bad press would start and everybody, all the people in the newspaper would be like, ooh.
That's exactly what I think. That's exactly, you nailed it. So I think these small areas here, I think he'll defend it. And he's already talked about potentially using Doge on Mars. But you know what I'm saying? As a currency system. You know, and this is the other part I thought. You know, and it's because of his rockets and everything like that. The cloud. Like, you know, it's not like it's quiet. He's not quiet about it. You know, you can't sit there and change that history. Well, I guess you'd always do that anytime, but I think it's going to be very distinctive. And he's a sentimental guy. We've already seen that. He's a sensitive. I mean, no disrespect.
He just needs to stay alive. That's the key for him.
For real, dude. I hope he's got a job. I feel bad for Big Balls and Sexy Tesla. Dude, those guys, they've gone under so much scrutiny now. Dude, the left far media, bro, is literally lambasting them, saying, who are these kids? Mama, come get your babies. Yet these guys have started businesses. One of the guys started business at age 14, 15, and emancipated himself and his family. These are babies.
A story that's where they try to character assassinate all the people they're coming up with the bad information just by running database inquiries. Let's look at some stuff here. Let's run this. Let's feed it to our AI. What comes out? Boom. And they're character assassinating these guys. The Democrats are beating them up and all this type of stuff. And I'm watching one of the news shows, and the guy comes out and says, where did the Democrats fail in this last election cycle? With young people. They failed with young people, and now all the old guys, Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren, are up there, and people are aroused now so badly, I can't even believe it. And these young kids shouldn't be in there. They just told everyone under the age of 30 that they're just young and stupid, and they should not be part of politics. And why would you be part of the Democratic Party? Because we think you're stupid. It was just one of those things. You saw the strategery people behind the scenes going, oh man, we blew it again.
Well, I would have thought that they would have got it. I mean, look, my man right behind me right here, you get it. Like, he gets it. Like, it's like, he's like, I mean, especially with a few of those Democrats to his right and left, he's just not going like, oh my Lord. I mean, what saddens me is that Miss Waters was there, sitting there just blathering on, going like, Grandma, like, and did you notice they kind of tried to rush him a little? And he was just like, ugh, like, for real. Like, he even like, there wasn't even like this, like, there was just no budge with them.
For those of you that don't know, the guy behind Pedro is the guy that stood outside the USAID building in Washington, D.C. and said to people and AOC people that they couldn't go in. Building was closed, they're not allowed in, and all this type of stuff. Pedro, you got to stop doing that on air. Or at least let me know you're going to do it so I can take you off.
All All right, I'm good. That's the last of it. Keep going. Keep going.
And so the guy just stood out there saying no, and all these people, do you know who I am? And all you could do with, you could see, apparently Pedro's was telling me about this before, and the guy's just like this. Oh, I can't believe I have to stand out here and listen to these idiots. I can't believe it. And now he's all over. He's the viral guy on social media now. He's like the guy that is handing the executive orders to President Trump to sign. You know, that just kind of dorky looking lawyer guy that just had that overworked bureaucrat lawyer look to him. But suddenly he was a viral sensation because of it too. And now this guy behind you, Pedro, is just excellent. It's just excellent.
Well, what I'm seeing him as is when you have to. Majority of the captions are when you have to listen to somebody stupid, or when you like, or when your uncle at Christmas is talking about conspiracy theories. So you just go, okay. Whatever. I love it because it's beautiful forever. He's in infamy. I totally messed up that word.
Yeah, that's all right.
Anyways, yeah. So anyhow, I've been looking at Doge because this huge sell-off, I don't think Doge is going to go away. I don't think a lot of these ones. And the only reason why I say it again is literally because Elon Musk is such a big personality that, you just don't bet against him. Like, don't bet against the dude because he's a Starship Rocket 7, dude. Did you see that this weekend? It was phenomenal, dude. Like, he was like,
the one he caught again?
Coming. Huh?
Wait, he launched one just like 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, excuse me. 2 weeks ago, not this.
Yeah,
week.
It was fabulous. But it blew, the Starship itself blew up over the Turks and Caicos and rained flaming magnesium and stainless steel onto them. Oops.
Oh, snaps. Did anybody get injured?
No, just washed up on the beach and made a mess of everything. Oh, look who's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Look who's back.
Look who's back.
Again.
Welcome back.
Up,
welcome
Jesus?
back. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Jesus, the Lord and Savior, finally. Jesus, the Lord and Savior, is back. I'm glad to see you have risen once again. 2 billion Christians around the world are going to be very happy you appeared on our show to do that. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Jesus.
The car markets must have been busy.
Yahashua.
Either you've been super busy in San Francisco selling cars, or let me guess, you went back to Peru for a little family vacation. And they let you back in.
And didn't keep them.
Did you see the numbers, Pedro, of the immigrants has dropped 93% of coming across the border?
Oh, yeah. Well,
all it took was someone to say, stop them. And then, okay.
Well, that's what happens, right? Like, Trump just said, like, you got to stop this bull. Like, and if not, we'll just tax we're going to tariff everything. Like, don't do it. And then Mexico tried to play hardball, and they had it. And here's the thing I love, if you guys only want to understand how Trump does things, go read The Art of the Deal, or The
Art of the Deal. In fact, Mrs. Striking just bought
Trump.
it and is reading it right now because she wants to be better prepared to talk to her clients and in her world and stuff like that, and it's already helping her out.
Absolutely. It's actually really,
and it's an old book too. It's not like it's new. It's written before, when Trump was married to Ivanka or Ivana, whichever one it is.
Wait, Ivanka is his.
Whichever one, not the daughter. Wasn't married to his daughter.
Ivana, I think Ivana is his daughter.
Ivana's the wife.
Ivanka.
Is that right? Oh. Ivana's the ex-wife. Ivanka is the daughter.
Oh, dude, we're messing it up.
All right.
No disrespect to the Trumps. We just.
Hey, Seuss, we know that. We were just throwing shade your way a little bit. We know you're a Mexicano.
Yeah. But I think what's interesting is that the idea behind Trump and how he plays hardball. And he's like, look, I'm not, like, we have the golden goose, i.e. called the American people. And
right.
They know how, and I hate to say, But our backs are strong because we've had a lot of shit placed on them over the last 20 years, and we're still pushing along. And then they're throwing sugar in our gas tanks, and we're still pushing along, regardless of all the crap, which is amazing. So let's say we get healthy, crap stops getting put in our food, right? Then on top of that, taxes get thrown out the window, right? Not to say that they are. What I mean is that there's going to be a lowering of taxes. And then all of a sudden, things start to speed up again over the next 2 years. It's already written on the wall. What we're seeing with aid. And here's my other question. What are your thoughts on, the Department of Education? Do you think we're going to see a lot of the pork in there, or do you think it's going to be tight?
I think that it needs to go back to what it was originally created for, just to ensure there was some kind of common standards. First of all, one of the reasons why it was created was to ensure the federal government was overseeing integration of schools, which has mostly happened. And the small amount of money that the government used to give schools and all that, to make sure things were kind of equal. They didn't want to see the Missouri schools getting $1 and then the schools in Connecticut getting $20,000. They needed to ensure some kind of parity so everyone across the U.S. got a proper education. All of that's good. All that's good. But where they start getting into policies and this, they have something like 3,500 people that are policy directors at the Department of Education. What the fuck is that? $1 billion or $3 billion a year or whatever it costs for people to write policy at the Department of Education. Then they come up with these new cockamamie, since there's all these people, they have to come up with new things in order to get promoted. They come up with new things. They come up with, okay, let's have this Common Core program. Let's teach, math has been taught this one way since math was invented. Let's change it now to give people more critical thinking skills. I could never even help my kids do their math. And they would get shit wrong all the time, and the teachers would give them credit for doing the steps properly. And I'm like, well, the satellite crashed into Mars at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Well, I did the steps properly. I just got the wrong answer. Oh. Whoops. I would have these discussions with the people, and they're like, well, it's mandated to us by the federal government. On the phone with Mike Quigley's office, my representative, Mike, you got to do something about this. Tom, we can't do anything about this. Well, I didn't talk to him. I talked to staffer number 8. And we can't do anything about it. It's Department of Education policy. We're not going to reverse it. Zero budget. It started over, just like USAID. Pedro, USAID does some good things. They feed kids all over the world. Yeah. Problem is they spend 80% of their money on admin and security, and 20% on feeding the kids. Check this out. Let's start zero budget, start over, hire companies to do it. They'd feed so many more kids, it would be ridiculous. Same with the Department of Education, zero it out, start over. Fire everybody. What do we need to do? We need to make sure Missouri or Mississippi doesn't raise idiots. And so we need to give them a little extra money and ensure common standards. Okay, done.
Well, I think one of the things that, and that I think we also need to talk about is not only just simply the idea of creating new things to justify your job, but I think one of the biggest issues is that there needs to be literally, I'd be willing to put money into somebody for common sense, like connections with the public. Meaning, okay, you've got a crew of people, you're going to do a test on to see if we can do this, right? Let's say the new Common Core, right, that they switched, if they had ran this by parents saying, all right, because there's a lot of common sense people out there that would sit there, and I would almost want to sit there and say, look, if you go through, and I want to be separate of the school board, because again, school boards that we see receive money from governmental agencies. I mean, more of a libertarian sense, where if you're going to bring something through and fund it, before you even start throwing billions of dollars into it, you need to run it by the public. Just run it by the public. Is that wrong? I mean, is this, am I wrong in this? Or?
No, you're not, Pedro. Sorry, I was just responding to the great noise machine known as Mrs. Striking over here.
Oh, I love Miss Striking. You leave her alone, Tom.
Yes, Pedro says everybody loves Mrs. Striking, so leave her alone.
Thank you. She can be as loud as she wants. It's all good.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Brando Commando.
What's up, Brando?
Brando Commando. It gives us the super chat, $2 super chat, helping the algorithm. Woo!
Really? You see that? I don't see it. Is this on?
No, why is this not working? Now I can't.
Oh, no, this is a rant. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brandon. Thank you for the rant. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother. You're amazing. Thank you.
Finally got the holler going again, Pedro. I don't have that pumped into your ear to spare you from that, but thank you very much to Brando Commando. I really appreciate helping us keep that algorithm over at Rumble knowing we're alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says, hope the wife didn't fall. No. She's just in the kitchen. She's a cabinet slammer.
She accidentally tripped down some stairs.
She's a cabinet slammer. Kabam! Kabam! Kabam!
She's got heavy hands.
Just kabam!
It's all good. My friend, he comes over, and I do the same thing. We're talking, and I'm like, yeah, blah, and I'm opening up I'm cooking stuff, and he says, I remember he was like, why do you slam everything? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you slam every time you open up a drawer and you close it, it's like you slam it. I go, no, I'm making sure it closes. And he goes, dude, I'm gonna like record you. And
it drives me crazy also. Or the doors, and you go to the doors that are spring loaded, and people just like you put 5 things out in the hallway, like loading the luggage, so you got to go in and out 5 times in a minute, and kabam, 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 kabam. I was like, how about just put your foot on it, and so ease it closed. Jesus says, my cabinets close slowly on their own, but I do that blank all the time when I visit my mom's. Because mom's probably gets crazy. I think Jesus is a handy guy, and he upgraded his drawers and cabinets for those slow close ones. I love those. Anyway, once again, thank you to Brando Commando over on Rumble. To everyone on Rumble, thank you very much for watching us. Remember to do us a solid over there and to like and subscribe. Remember, there's so many of you. I can look in the stats that are not subscribers that watch us, meaning that
hundreds of people.
You don't need to subscribe to Rumble and pay them in order to subscribe. You can subscribe and just have a profile with them and watch things and like them.
Absolutely.
You can do that, like them, and you can write comments to us, and you can say things like, Tom is whacked today, or something like that.
Say, I don't like Tom's big nose.
It's just massive today. Oops, that was the wrong button.
Okay.
That was the turn pager off button.
So, okay, we got it. All right, so real quick, let's talk about XRP here real quick. XRP has been really interesting. We're watching it kind of die out here. We came and topped, and we talked about this. Be ready for it to go just a little bit above, right? And then go for a pullback. Now, I had 2 areas here. I said we have this area right here. This is when we were making these highs here. We have this area right here that we could see it bounce off of, which was basically right here is what we talked about, right? And then you can see it kind of came down and kind of floundered and then finally sold through. And then we had these areas that were, I talked about that 244 to the 219, and then the lower area, which we talked about 188, 185. And it kind of fulfilled everything that we were talking about, which is really dope. We're watching it right now, starting to kind of consolidate here. Again, we're in the sense where it's finding support on the 89, which is the blue moving average, which is simple. But I'm kind of hesitant to sit there and say that it's going to go down further because we're watching, even though we're seeing volume flounder here, we're not really seeing a sell-off. So I think potentially, and I don't want to call the low here, but I would say maybe the potential low is that 188 to the 185. And also, and you may not want to hear this, but I'm just saying, if we see another sell-off, potentially the 200 period moving average sitting at the 143 to the 128 area. I don't think we're going to go lower here simply because so much press and so many people are standing behind. We have literally the XRP blockchain, which it's XRL. Is that what it is? I forget what it's called.
XRPL?
Yeah, that's what XRPL. Yeah, Ledger. Which is their blockchain, and it's bringing in a lot of money. A lot of meme coins are going on XRP. They're getting a lot of transaction fees, which is really good for them. So they don't need to sell off the coin. They actually have a working business model now. So I think, if we see some flash crashes, we could see a potential touch to that 85 or even that 143. But I don't think we're going to see it get below that 143 area. And I think that will probably be, if it does start to see a sell-off, the potential low before we see again. And like I said, I've talked to you guys, I expect to see a $9 XRP in this bull run. So I'm expecting that, and we should see it. Just like when I talked about the market for, now I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? Because I thought we were going to see a 10,000, 5,000 Bitcoin in this bear market when we were down in the bear markets, right? But in that same sense, I have called some pretty good ones like Crow coming down to that 10-cent mark, 9-cent mark area, and we're watching that, currently happen. By the way, I'm stoked because I'm able to pick up a decent amount of Crow at these levels. Brett, we talked about, again, coming down to these lower levels here, as we're seeing it consolidate. So for XRP, I think that, if you're going to be looking to kind of save or maybe put a potential limit order, those two little places I like at those levels, literally because, one, these areas here are good substantial areas. There's moving average, there's buyers and sellers sitting there. We've seen them. And so, and then especially this lower area here, if it does get down there, I don't think it's going to stay down there long. I think it's going to come down there and shoot back up. So just to give you guys a heads up so you know. And then I wanted to bring up one last one over here. Not one last one, but one of the ones I wanted to talk about was Brett and a few of these other major meme coins. But we're seeing a sell-off here. So Brett is coming down to this lower level here of that 30 or that 3 cent 8 area. I think we're going to see it potentially come down to here and potentially come down lower to that $2 or the 2-cent mark area, simply because we're seeing from a volume standpoint a pretty decent amount of sellers here. So I expect to see us potentially sell through that area here of that 4-cent area and come and tap around the 3 cent to 2 cent area. So something to give you heads up so so you can pick up if you're still shorting this a perpetual, what I'm saying? If you see a big increase of buyer volume here, then obviously take profit, right? But I don't think we're going to see it get above that 8 here, simply because it's just kind of consolidating at this level. It's not pushing up. So because of that, I expect to see us again consolidate for a little bit and sell it down here as the 8 continues to go down. And then we have not Bone, where's Shiba Inu, Shibaru, Joe Rogan, Taylor Swift, aka Mr. Beast, Bitcoin. Okay, we hit it all. Okay, so I think
SHIB's come down a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, we have. Remember, we talked about it coming down to the 12 area here. That's exactly what we saw, down to the 4012. I can only hope that we might see it go down further, but I don't think we're going to. We're starting to see, even though it's come down, you can see here that we're seeing it actually starting to taper off on the buyers and sellers here. So this area, that 12, I was thinking we could potentially see it come down to the 1 cent 90, but I don't. It's showing a lot of strength at this level here. It's pushing above that 8-period moving average. We're seeing it kind of consolidating with higher highs and higher lows on the smaller time frames. So granted, it's lower volume, but I like the setup of it. So as long as it stays above that 8 or is consolidating at that 8, right now this is simply them establishing orders for a position to potentially push it up. So granted, they have a lot of resistance, but that's when we have the ping pong effect, right? Where it goes up, then down, then higher up and higher and lower, or a higher low, higher high, higher low, where they're able to establish their stuff. So I like this area. I was hoping that we might see it push lower, but I don't think it's going to. I like this area. I like what the institutions are doing here. So I was on G, what was it? Crypto G or G Crypto was the girl. Her paid was on the show, and so she started asking me about the market, and I said, listen, if you see a big wick at the bottom of a candle, typically that means the end. So we're kind of seeing this here.
And Brando Commando says, explain that wild wick.
The wild wick, we shall. So the wild wick is one of those things I think is really important to understand. As the market comes down into an area of support, when you have real buyers, typically you'll see it set up this way, where they come down, take out a bunch of stops. Okay, so a lot of stops are right here. Okay, so you can see they came down, stopped everybody out, but then it stopped out the institution at this institutional level. Remember, when the market was all the way up here back in 2024, right? I had talked about, we're going to see it come back down here. And so I said, wait for it to come down here to that 1,000 area, right? And then we saw it do it. Well, I thought we were going to come back and tap this lower area of that 8 area, right? Or I think, were we going? Yeah, we were right here. Okay, so this is a good example. So we see the market right here. It came and put a low, went in high, we saw it go sideways. The wild candle means that there are stops below it that act as liquidity for institutions, especially if it's consolidated quite a bit, because people will go through and place their stop underneath it. So now that the institutions are very much in play in crypto, we're going to see them do that quite a bit. So they take these stops. And so you can see here, those stops then act as an area of support in I call it a local area, because you can see it's local buying happening here. Okay. And so it goes through and takes the local stops, but doesn't take the institutional stops. So this is where, or the novices stop, or people who kind of don't know what they're doing. Right? And so they don't look at, they don't look at the monthly chart. They don't look at the weekly chart, right? They don't look at a 3-month chart here and engage where the stops are sitting. And so they'll sit there and go, okay, I'll go here. And they'll just stop them out, clear off everything, and then boom, push it back up. And so that's what I mean by that. Did that make sense, or was that over explaining? Oh man, I've been trying hard not to over-explain things, trying to make it just simple.
Well, go back, and as I like to say, give me the 2-sentence summary of what you just said. Institutionals, retails, yes, no, what?
Okay, so institutionals like to push, the institutional market likes to push the market down, take out a bunch of the novices or people who don't know what they're doing stops. And then, because when they take those stops out, it fills up their bags at low levels or at high levels if they're looking to short, and then they go in the opposite direction.
I guess we're gonna go with that.
That's still complicated. Dang it.
It's all right. That's why you keep coming back here. Keep coming back to the show and keep listening and you keep hearing these things over and over again.
They sell the market off so that they can take your stops. Kind of what happened to Tom this morning, to push it in the direction that Tom. And then when that happens, what does Tom do? Tom will then chase that market and push the market up.
I did no such thing. I chased no candles.
Because I've yelled at you.
In fact, what I did is I closed the browser so I would not even look at it anymore. I was like, that's it. I got the show. Show's going to come on. I'll set up a new trade later. There's always a new trade to set up.
Yes. Remember, guys, there's always another trade. Don't marry a trade.
If there were no more trades and you missed it out, then the markets would have stopped in about 1840 when they started. Well, that's it. We traded all the trades. Nothing left to do.
It's 1840 since this, so this thing's been going on.
I don't know. I just picked that date out from a long time ago.
Because I was gonna say, because I know that. Branding. Quick.
All right, I'm going to talk about my XCN trade here earlier and what I'm learning from Pedro. This is let's see if I have it in the great meme machine here. XCN run and bring it up here. Oxycoin, Onyx coin. I read oxycotin into that. I was like, whoops. Onyx coin here is at about 2.5 cents right now, a little under that. It's got a $755 million market cap, traded $100 million in the past 24 hours. You would think this is a rock solid thing. At this type of token in the past, I don't know, past couple of months, it falls into that right at the $100 million thing. It's going to go up. It's sitting pretty for that. Oops, I just hit the wrong button. I rearranged my stream deck and I'm continually hitting wrong buttons there. There, Pedro, I can turn you off doing that if you want to go off. Anyway, XCN here is all the newest good stuff. You know, AI, blockchain, all the right keywords, all that type of stuff. And a couple of people were talking about it. And so I took a chance in it and I got into it. Right, let's see if I can turn the weather on here. Oop, yeah, but I didn't turn my screen off. I got into it right about here, and I longed it because the moving averages.
You longed it.
I went long. I went long right about here, and I thought about it to myself, and I was like, you know what, that was a good play. The people showing where it's going to go, the measured moves and all this type of stuff said it's going to go up into the 5-cent area. And I was like, oh, that's good. A little 1x, 2x type thing. And then, of course, it started depreciating right away and the price started going down. And I was like, all right, hold on a sec. I need to put the man in the boxes thinking cap on here and say, where should I have waited for it? Instead of just listening in and looking at the moving average and stuff, which is one tool, one tool way of doing things. I said, where should I have actually gotten in? Where was my buy spot? And so I went back, weather off there. I went back and looked at it, and I looked around, analyzed the charts, looked at the numbers, saw where the past trades were, and came up with this this zone right in here. I'm not as good as doing this as Pedro, but I came up with this zone where the two blue lines are right here, and that's about the 17-cent mark, and I looked at it and I said, all right, that's where, if I was talking to Pedro on the show here, he would have said, I wouldn't get into it now. I would wait till it comes back to this zone here. And so I said to myself, all right, so I'm going to get out of my trade. So what I did is I closed out the position as best I could without losing too much money and reversed it. And now I'm short in it because I am planning on this thing coming down all the way down here. And since I've said that, the moving averages have kind of changed to support the down. You can see the moving averages are all going down here. So you want on the Pedro, correct me if I'm wrong quickly. You're moving with the market, against the market, unless you're just totally throwing the dice gambling. So here I'm moving with the market. The moving averages are showing that it's coming down. My wife is making let's just go ahead and turn the weatherman on again. And right here, if you can see the moving averages are all coming down. And this is, so I said, all right, now I'm going to turn around and get short in this area. And I did all the way down here. And now it's come down a lot. She's still making fun of me. And as you can see, the price is dropping accordingly now, and the market's doing kind of what it said. It's coming down to where the liquidity is, and as Pedro is teaching me, look for the liquidity. I found it. You might find it in a different place, but I think it's in this 17-cent range. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see if my short can come all the way down there. When it gets a little bit further into it, I'll take profits and to lock in profits and take them, and then we'll leave a little bit to go on down. And this trade, I'll update everybody either on the air. We're not going to be on the air much this week because it's a travel week for me, but I'll update it in the TG, and we can follow on to see if Tom makes the big bucks on Make Money Monday or goes to the poorhouse. So that's I thought I would update this and it and in the box and go no. Then I think I'm on the right train here. So we're gonna watch this short, see how it plays out. I'm up a few bucks now, 113 bucks when it gets to be a little bit more. Actually, my total take, my 70% is right around 19 cents. So as it gets close, I'll probably move that. That's a little generous. I'll probably move it to like 20 cents to take 50 to 60%, and then let the rest ride down. And if it reverses and starts going back up, I'll close it out with a nice profit.
Right. And remember, like, your risk to reward ratio is super important, especially because we look at it like this. If you have a 30% win ratio, okay, which you should have higher when you're hanging out with me. And I don't mean that arrogantly. Well, you guys have seen it multiple times who watch me, and forgive me if I do come off arrogant. That's not my heart. But as that risk to reward ratio starts to increase, because you become more efficient at gauging which way the market it will most likely go, right? It will keep increasing. So you can sit there and say, all right, I'm gonna risk, let's say, $20 here in hopes to make $200. Okay, and you'll get I have a friend of mine who's learned from me, another one, and he's been taking this to meme coins, and he's gone through and and then I tell him, take what I can teach you, but then also you need to do your own work, and you're going to see the market different. And so when that happens, I want to encourage you to go back and like start to adapt what I teach you as well to how you see the market. And then you need to tally it. And so I said, how many X's do you typically get on your trade? Well, he went back and did it because he took notes. I'm teaching here, just so you guys know. Took notes. He wrote it down, not just mentally, but physically wrote it down, right? Then he took screenshots of what he thought before, what he thought after. And because he's starting to become so detailed at that, right? He's starting to notice more nuances in the market, which then those small nuances in the market allow you to be able to let your trade go longer. And then what happens is compound interest takes care of itself, and it'll just start to grow and grow. But the key is as you're taking notes, as you're writing down that trade of your thought behind it, where you were right and where you were wrong, going back and back testing it. And I told him 100-time back test for every strategy at least, okay? Because it gives you a good round number of and then forward test it. And then it will make you more confident in your skill set to trade. I know that was a lot to sit there and say, but it's basically how Tom is getting better. Is that Tom is writing down his trades. He is mocking it, he's back testing it, and then he's forward testing. And because of that, you will just get better, and you're able to notice the nuances of the market in which it moves, right? And so you're like, well, Pedro, this just looks like a sideways motion. It's a sideways motion communicating. One thing, like we all know, as a parent, Tom is.
Wrong button.
As Tom knows, every time your child talks, he's giving you information, regardless of whether he knows it or not, right? He's lying. Well, I didn't say I was lying. No, I can see it because it's what you're not saying and how you're saying it. And you're lying to me because I know you that well. Well, the markets have tells as well. And you can see if it's lying to you or not, right? Or let's say the government's saying, hey, we have all these jobs, but the population itself can't even support those amount of jobs. But you get what I'm saying, the nuances. So write down your trades. In it, say as much as you understood about the market, okay? And then go through at the end of your week, go back, look at your trades, and go, was I right or was I wrong? And then on your weekend, go back, literally, and back test what you thought. Basically, and one thing that I love about trading is that you can't help but build your resilience, right? Because the dopamine hit and feed is so big that it's like, okay, I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. Oh, wait, I'm right. Why was I right? Oh, okay, because of this. This was different. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm right. I'm wrong. I'm right. Oh, why am I wrong and right this time? Oh, boom, dopamine hit.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah, feedback, boom. And then from there, what do? You go back, you retest. And it's like, okay, I'm right, wrong. Wrong. Right? How you're building your skill set. And that right there translate into every aspect of your life. There isn't an area in your life where that will not translate into good things.
Yeah, Pedro, you couldn't hear it when I was doing the mind-blowing thing. I was playing these things.
Oh. You know? And then when you make a mistake, you look like this guy right here. You're like, oh, I did that again.
Go with the cultist chant. Where's the Baltimore anyway? We missed him from the show.
I'm so stoked though that you have that though. Like it's a
yeah. I offloaded the broadcasting software to my laptop here, and it's a pain in the ass to do it that way because then I have to look down here all the time. But it's makes everything work better.
Let's go ahead. I want to go over ETH here, and then as well as I want to go over Sol here as well, real quick.
I got ETH coming up first here on the graphics machine.
Yep. Awesome. So we talked about the sell-off come down to our 2 here last week.
ETH has been volatile.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. They're getting ready to send this, like legit.
But then I read another article today about institutions shitting the shit out of them. So only you with the CME can tell us if you see the open interest in shorts coming on ETH. But
yes,
they keep saying they're going to send it. Everyone's like, it's going to send. It's set up. It's so bullish. It's set up. And down and down.
I don't disagree. It was sad to see it almost hit all-time highs, right? And to see the sell-off here. I got to admit, I expected that we were going to get going as well, right? I talked about a 13,000 ETH, which I'm still very bullish on a 13,000 ETH. I did 4,000, and we talked about it's coming down here. Once we put this second low high in right here, back in January, and we started to see the stuff, I said, all right, we're going to see this thing kind of come back down. So this is when we redrew our lower areas here, which was this one right here, and then this lower level here down at 2,000, 1,000. And I remember saying, it sucks that we came down here, right? But the thing is it coming down to these lower levels show that institutions are interested in it. The idea that they may be shorting it, but the reality is we know that everything is based off of EVMs. And if they close their shop, then the whole entire market system basically implodes on itself because they're literally the proprietors and the next to DOT, the infrastructure that's kind of holding the majority of the market here, right? XRP is building their own system, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it's right now the only thing. And I've got a couple of theories that I'm actually going to be bringing across to Larry, who actually interacts with XRP executives. So I thought that was really interesting. So I'm going to say, hey, look, I have an idea here you might want to look at and consider, because this would actually help kind of stop the potential overlordish situation that could happen. And so, and it would actually, I think it would actually bring more trust from the crypto DeFi natives with that, like when I look at it.
DeFi natives.
So this idea that, anyways, I say this because Ethereum here it came down to our line here. We talked about expecting it to come down to. I said below here, if it closes below this purple level, that 2099 area, I said, we see this close below here with volume, expect to see a bit of a sell-off coming down. We did come down to our area here last week, and we didn't go over this, which I was meaning to, but we came down here, hit this level here on Monday, and then we're seeing this sell off. But I want to bring this up here real quick. Even though we're seeing higher amounts of sell volume here, if you look at it, we see a lot of demand wicks, right? Boom, you can see this area here where they're establishing orders. And so for me, as I'm looking at this area, whether they're consolidating it or they're going to drop it again down into these levels here, I expect them to push this up because there's a lot of demand wicks. Every time we see a pullback down into support, we see them buy up the market. Boom, they put seller wicks as they're going up, as well as demand wicks as it's going up, which means that they're buying at these levels. So you can see here, it comes in, puts another local low in, taking out stops. Well, look, they're buying again, comes down, takes out this local low here, right? Gets buyers established here, and then they push it up. So there's buying happening. They may be shorting the market, but they're also buying the market because we can see it with the wicks. And in addition to this, you can see here on Sunday, the morning open on the 4 hour, man, they exploded it. Look, boom, actually sold it off and then left it up. Boom, you can see right here, you can see the majority of these and this consolidation sell at the open on Sunday. But you can see here that, you know, everybody thought horrible stuff was going to happen because of the tariffs. And I even told quite a few communities, I said, hey, I'm expecting to see a sell-off because of the macro market of tariffs indication that the market will most likely sell off. And you can see here, I was shocked. We actually went up. So
yeah, you
I'm a little hesitant. I'm a little hesitant of the market going up right now. Okay, the last kind of, you know, since Sunday. But the reality is, in the previous times, we've seen them establishing orders of buyer orders, right? So they're trying to see how far they can push it down before they send it up. And it's going to be real interesting to see what they do here. So I'm bullish on Ethereum, even into the sell-offs here. At these low levels, you can pick up still quite a bit of Ethereum here, right, at these lower levels. So whenever they have low GWE go through, is it GWE or gas? I don't know what they call it.
I call it gas.
Gas, there you go.
Gas.
Yeah.
GWE, I've heard people say GWE. The Germans say googly eyes or something like that. And, you know, everyone calls it something
whatever
different.
It be. Yeah. So either way, if it's low, I'd pick up some ETH at these lower levels, because once it starts to ascend, right, to 4,000, 5,000, and again, like this area here, it almost is tapping here, and then seeing that sell off for me was such an indication of them literally just taking the stops. Basically, this area right here, when they came to the T, I mean, look at this, bro. I thought this was just, I started cracking when I saw this, dude. Look at this. They came to the stops. To literally, like, I remember we put this right underneath where the stops would be, right? And they came down to the stops, stopped out all those people. And this is important to understand, right? Like, let me show this here real quick. They stopped out all of these people that were literally long from this point on. Like, that's what cracks me up, is they came down and they stopped this person, these people here, right? Like all of them, these people here, they stopped all of them out. Blink! Then shot it up, right? So I just think that is a typical institutional move of them just screwing with you, just to mess with you. So that's why I'm like, if they're doing it like this, dude, they're not gonna let. They will somehow discredit Vitalik, Mr. Buterin, before they let Ethereum go to crap. They will remove him. There's
been some excellent memes about Vitalik, just be it because he looks like an alien, you know. It's just for some reason he's been in the news again lately. You know, turns out he was behind some alt Twitter account called Big Balls.
Oh, are you serious?
Or something like that, or he's connected with it somehow. I don't know what the story is, but
would be
And so the memes have come out with him. There's just professional Vitalik meme makers out there. He's just one human being that's odd, and the memes are awesome.
It was funny, dude. You remember there's that picture of him standing next to the girl, and I guess he's like kind of got that hard on, dude. And it was so funny, dude. He's like, dude, they blew that up, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe yeah,
whatever.
Dude,
whatever. Yeah. It was like he's like pervert.
Dude, I will see a hot girl next to you. Maybe wrong. You see a really hot girl next to you, and you're her age, and you're not right. Like, no. That's one thing.
It shouldn't be as obvious to the rest of the world that you're enjoying her presence. I think that's the way to politely say it.
Maybe it was his girlfriend. We don't know.
Just still,
he loves her.
There's just that thing called boners in public are never a good thing.
Oh, I didn't. It wasn't in public, right? I thought it was like him and like. Was that him in public?
Ooh, well, it was captured on camera, so it must have been in public.
I guess so. I thought it was him talking to a few people, and then somebody and that girl was right next to him. So like I thought, I don't know. Maybe he's lucky and he sits that way just naturally. That's actually him, just normal, bro.
Maybe he's like, dang man, that shit's big.
Dude, let's say he has to roll it up sometimes, bro, just to sit it.
What's your name? Is your name Vitalik? No, it's Dexter St. Jack. For you youngins, you won't get that. That's classic Eddie Murphy. Next thing you know, Dexter St. Jack screwing your woman. Some of the best Eddie Murphy comedy ever.
Bro, he was so... Dude, what's funny is that he quieted down during the whole entire... And I'm shocked that they didn't go after him.
They tried, but he's like, so what?
I don't care.
It's just like Chappelle. He's like, I don't care. You can come after me. I don't care.
Dude.
Pedro, you're going to hit Solana here before we signed off for the evening.
Yeah. Let's go to Solana. Sorry. All right. Solana here. Real interesting with Solana. Solana is actually showing some pretty good strength there, where everything is selling off. Solana is actually pushing up, and we're seeing volume step in. It's actually about to get above the average of basically 44 or 4.77 million Solana being bought here. So if this thing starts to pick up over the weekend, over the week, I'd expect to see it go up. We tried to sell off on Sunday. You can see here, tried to sell off. We put it in, but what's so interesting with Sunday is that as it was happening, right? Let me go into the hour. Here we go. As Sunday was happening, and I thought this was really interesting, we started to see the sell-off come in, right? Sunday morning or Sunday evening as it's happening, boom, sell off, boom, 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 boom. I saw this amount of volume come in to see it hold, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of volume coming in on Sunday evening with the Asian market. Right, comparative to what I would expect, right? If you look at, like, here's my volume here, and you look at a lot of the morning markets, early Asian markets, it's not this big, right? It's like definitely not. So, or the amount of volumes. So on me, when I said that, I was like, ooh, are they getting ready to pump this, right? And so I was expecting them to sell off at the US Open, right? But it could only go so far. You can see they pushed it up, but they could only go so far down. I said, I like the way this looks for Solana. So if you have a Solana meme coin or something like that, and you've been looking maybe to when to buy, I will look to kind of put in maybe your position again, right, with those because of this market push up. Now, I want to put the caveat here that if we see it go up Monday and or Sunday and Monday, potentially we can see it come back down, right? But why I put the pause on that statement is literally because of the volume and to see that it has indecision on Sunday and Monday and the increase in volume to show that there is some conviction in this, potentially see it go up. We are seeing and additionally to that, we're also seeing now it get above the moving averages. We don't necessarily have a trending higher time frame moving average, but what we do have is that there could go up. So that's why I'm definitely bullish on this week when it comes to Solana. Now, again, my price point, if it gets below this 200 mark again with volume, all bets off. We'll see what happens there. But as long as we are staying above like that 202, 201 area, right? And which is basically like a 1% move within Solana here, we should see it. It was a nice little sell-off off of the US market, but it didn't sell off as hard as I thought it was going to. So that's in a nutshell.
Jesus, the Chinese New Year, yes, that is a time when a lot of not just Chinese but Asia in general celebrates the Lunar New Year. Take a 15-day holiday, and we do historically. I've seen Bitcoin hash rates go down during that time, and also volume out of Asia. But every year, like everything else, every year is different about everything, and so don't plan on these things repeating themselves. It will get you wrecked. Always evaluate it. But yeah, it's a thing. You know, it's a and because most of the Chinese have emigrated out of the country into cities, the younger generations hop on their brand new high-speed train network and go visit mom and dad and the family back home in the villages. And so not a lot gets done in China during the Lunar New Year. Unless you have bad social credit, and then you have to stay at work. You can't take vacation.
That's so crazy, bro. Like, imagine if that shit was... Dude, Americans be like, yeah, it's time to revolt. Like, that's just crazy to think that they would be like... That they would just settle. You know, so I'm learning a little bit like horticulture, how to grow stuff, right, in case something happens and it's a civil war that happens and stuff hits the fan, right? I'm headed out to the jungle, legit, either the jungle or the desert, right? Make sure I have a good, because now with the new Elon, by the way, did you check out the Super Bowl stuff with mobile? What was it? T-Mobile and Elon, right? With Starlink.
I'm in Canada. Do you know what those stupid Canadians do? Is you watch the Fox News feed and they pump it through one of their loser local stations, and they strip out the American commercials and put their local commercials in, which are horrid. They're horrid. So we didn't get to see any of the cool commercials. Not only that, you know what else they did? During the national anthem and before that, when Trump was on the field, the American feeds showed it. They edited out of the Canadian feed. Even though it's the Fox feed. It's the Fox feed. It's not like their own cameras. They take the Fox feed and they're like, oh my God, Trump's about to come on, click, and they go to a different, they go to something else and talk to the guys in the sidelines. Mrs. Striking is like looking at Twitter and she's like, hey, did you know that Trump was there? I was like, yeah, they showed him flying in and arriving there. Like, no, he was on the field during the national anthem and it shows him. And I was like, they didn't even show it here. That's how pissed off they are about the tariffs. They're like, he's not even going to be on the screen. Screw that.
Bro, but the problem is that's a big no-no with the NFL. I'm shocked. You know what's even crazier is that, like, Canadians watch the NFL.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge here. I mean, they have the Canadian NFL up here, the CFL. Big. It's huge. It's a big thing. It's like the minor leagues for the NFL. They're nuts about it. A massive amount of them are Bills fans.
Really?
Because Toronto and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, that part of Ontario is the most populous in Canada. The closest team is Buffalo. And what I didn't know, because I don't give a crap about the Buffalo Bills, or really any football team in general, but especially the Bills.
Raiders! Sorry, go ahead.
Mrs. Striking has friends that are Canadians that live down in that area. And they were all upset. We're not watching the Super Bowl because they cheated. There was corruption. The referees were paid off, so the Bills didn't make it and stuff like that. It's like... The fact is, you lost the game. You didn't score enough. If you'd scored one more touchdown, wouldn't have been a problem.
Me and Jesus can't be friends now. Sorry, Jesus. Bro, sorry, gotta go. Yeah, wait, where's our band? We gotta ban Jesus.
Sorry, back to the cave.
Battle of the Bays, baby. Shoot.
Back to the cave.
Back. Sorry, gotta go to the cave, bud. Oh, what did Brandon say? What's up, Brandon? public?
No, that's from a while ago.
Oh, the XRP one. Okay, nice. I'm late on that. Okay. What I think is so interesting is that I want to bring this up from a new standpoint. Okay,
Yeah.
dude. So what is up with? And I want to get your thoughts on this because I've been posting on my X feed a lot of the stuff that's happening with Doge or the government of efficiency, Doge, and watching what we're seeing there. And it's like, and I'm literally seeing like the majority of the comments and everybody that's on, and this is the part over on Truth Social, I'm a part of. I just started Pedro Garcia Crypto Chart Analyst. If you want to go follow me over on Truth Social. But also though,
Apparently you have not followed the DYOR Media Network on Truth Social.
I have not. I will. I promise you I'll do that today. Forgive me. That will be done. End of business day. But on the back end, I don't really all the Democrats. I live in an area, bro, where it's a blue area. They bleed blue, and I really haven't heard much about the complaining of Doge yet. I am seeing so much of this stuff on social media, and I'm like, do you think people are really upset about him doing that, or do you think this is potential another psyop with the leftover money?
It's a psyop, and I couldn't tell you who's running it, but the undercurrent is trying to discredit Elon as someone who got lucky in life, is not smart. You read these people's tweets, they say, oh, he's actually not smart. He hired smart people to do all that stuff, and he's actually kind of dumb and just lucky to be in charge of this. And I'm like, oh, really, you idiots? Because that's how people get to rise to be the richest person in the planet. It's like, oh, he inherited all that. Like, no, he inherited this much money and turned it into PayPal. And then he turned PayPal into this much money. Then he turned it into this much money. And then he sent his car into orbit around the sun.
Well, here's the thing, and I think what's important, I mean, we can go into that. Whether he is deserving of it or not, I don't know. I don't care. The key, though, is that every day we see him, and there's enough, not autobiographies, biographies done by other people who sit there and follow this man, who write down his stuff meticulously, right? Yep. Of his story. He's autistic. We all know that he's high functioning, but socially he sucks. Right? Like, we've seen it on the stage when he jumps up, he goes, my heart to you. Right? And it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, that's the most stupidest thing you could have ever done at that moment. Right? But he doesn't realize it because he's literally socially not there. I have a friend.
He's a rich dork. I mean, you see the way he jumps around. He has no hand. The man has never played a sport in his life. Don't ask him to throw a ball. He'll throw it like a 2-year-old, and then people make fun of him. They'll be like, oh.
He'll throw it like a girl.
I can't say that. That's why I said 2-year-old.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Oh man, that's not what I. Well, there is a difference when you watch, and I don't mean softball.
You can move and skip past that.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. My bad. Women, you're the bomb diggity. I mean, no disrespect. What I mean though, and that's an old saying from our generation, so that's why I said that. Anyways, moving along. So the reason why I bring this up is literally because I've seen a few videos, but they're typically with people who have bright red hair, green hair, purple hair, and they're very far. They typically espouse a very far left ideologies. But I'm talking the central Democrats. I mean, dude, John, the guy of Jon Stewart with what was the show he used to do? Why am I forgetting what it's called? Was on comedy show. Jon Stewart. Come on, people.
Daily Show.
Audience. Daily Show. There we go. Used to make fun of and go after Republicans as well as Democrats. But his primary stick was with really Republicans and either the far right. This man is literally going after. He had this conversation with the USAID leader, and he asked her, like, is it wrong for us to want you to justify what you're spending on and letting the American people know? And the woman sits there and goes, listen, let's make sure we understand what audit is versus fraud and theft. And she wanted to sit there and delineate between it. And John says, okay, I'll give you that. But the reality is this, is we're seeing so much misplacement of our tax dollars that we know Americans would not agree with. And instead of her admitting where she went wrong or potentially saying, you know what, there probably is some forms here and we do need to audit it and make things right and just reconcile money in and money out. And, you know, like we just need to do that. So we know people have been paid. She held on to her train of thought, bro. And I thought that was completely wrong. Like at least show some humility in that aspect instead of go, well, you just don't know. I may not know, but I'm not an idiot, and America is an idiot. And when you don't even have a way to track, I mean, you work for the government.
Well, I didn't work for them. I contracted with them. Let me give you a good example here. Yeah. I have dealt with the State Department and USAID for many, many years.
There you go. Boom.
And I sold products to them. And I always assumed that USAID was just an arm of the State Department. Just to, you know, they
are the State Department.
Ultimately reported to the State Department. And what I've learned during this process is what people have been talking about. They said, no, the USAID people at the embassies, they don't even listen to the ambassador. They just do what they want. And they just say, because we were created by Congress, we don't have to listen to you. We have our own budget, our own reporting authority, and all that. And I was like, well, that explains a lot of things. They would operate independently of the State Department. And then I learned they would do, like the State Department, who is the policy of the President of the United States, would say, I want to do this. We'd find all these other things that the USAID or Elon and crew has found them doing other things.
Big balls. Shout out.
Subverted that. And I was like, wait, that's not how this is supposed to work. Not only that, but I know, because I became a victim of corruption with my old company, the State Department audits everything down to the last tire in contracts. And they audit when a contract is complete, they audit it, they do everything. It has to match down to the penny. And the auditors don't care who you are or whatever it is. They just go through it. Okay, everything's fine. This many cars got sold, this many tires did. Everything balances, everything is great. And when the contract that I was bidding on, the contract officer basically corrupted the previous contract and stole a bunch of stuff. The audit caught it, literally tires. You know, they were talking about billions of dollars in State Department spending, and they caught him stealing tires. And you know, each one's $350 each. You know, and at USAID, that's not going on. They don't have that level of audit. So there's a difference between like audit in which the USAID is talking about and auditing every last thing you do when a contract is done. And USAID doesn't do that. And so there is waste. There are programs that slip through. They said it's a $50 billion agency. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot with the US government. However, there's piggyback money from other agencies too. Like the CIA puts money through them too. That's another $50 billion. You know, they're this group and that group, and the National Reconnaissance Agency does stuff. They got all kinds of shit going through that organization. And it's really in the hundreds of billions.
I honestly think it's probably $1 trillion, because when you look at, he's just going through right now and checking now USAID, and they have 55,000. This is what blew me away. So you heard about the AI program that they established and created, where every time they ran something through a business, right? It was so many, they were like, but they kept seeing it as they were following the money that it was primarily going to like a couple areas. And so they went through and put all, you know, the tax ID numbers and all these businesses together. And they realized like there was 55,000, at least in USAID, what they're finding, where they were sending money to NGOs. And I thought to myself, like, let's say the American people, you know, let's say $200 billion gets actually pushed to the education department, but maybe 20 million is actually being pushed to the actual world education and the other 90% is actually being pushed into many of these other agencies again. I think we're going to see a lot of that because we already saw that with AID, which was a system that they could run things through. But then in addition to that, if I've got, let's say, an education that I'm doing here, but then I'm running another side business over here, I can funnel money through that and call it NGO, right? And so I just think we're going to see a lot of that. And I feel like in that aspect, as these things start to unfold, we're really going to see the fact that there was a judge who came in and put a unconstitutional statement and then tried to stop it. By the way, he did, right? He was able to stop it over the weekend, right? The what was the guy's name? Let me pull it up. The judge that I think this is crazy because what's the judge?
The guy behind you is still scaring me, Pedro.
I love that guy. That dude is my dude, bro. I absolutely love. He's gonna be my constant dude now. Like, I love him. Just that look. What's the judge's JUDGE?
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, while Pedro's looking that up, coming to the end of the show here. We will not be on tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mrs. Striking and I have one of our big annual events for the real world jobs, as we say. So we'll be off the air tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm en route to Toronto. Thursday, I'm en route to Chicago. However, we are going to have a new episode of the AI Life, which will be broadcast recorded on our Wednesday time slot. And that should be another great episode of the AI Life. And also we'll have another episode of the Swamp Creatures, part 2 of last week's new episode. And look for that Tuesday or Wednesday. Where did my music go? Had it playing in the background, it died.
So I think what's interesting is that the fact that there are so many, and there's also Republicans as well that are fighting Doge, which I think is really interesting, right? Miss Waters is fighting it. A few other,
she's got a lot of programs out there getting money to her friends that she does not want the light of day to come out. You know it,
right? and it's funny is we're seeing, and again, I'm a libertarian. I just want it all out there. Push government out.
Where did the money go?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to find out. Should have just done this through Grok. Grok would have been better. Here we are. Where's X? There we go. X. But I just thought it was funny that you're seeing all these people fight against the government to actually go through and be audited. And I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, why are you fighting this? Like, it makes
literally
no
it should
sense.
be like, all right, come on in. I remember I got audited by here in Canada by the sales tax people when I had my own business here, and they were sitting here talking to me, and they're like, well, do you want to show? And I'm like, here, just look at my screen. Here's my accounting system. Just look at it. Ask me any question you want. They asked me about 5 questions. They're like, oh, he's got his shit together. It's like, can you print out what happened on this, blah, blah, blah. Like, here, yeah, see, I charged the sales tax. Here, I remitted the sales tax. It's all recorded right here. Here's the computer. And they're like, oh, all right. The guy's like, well, we're done here. And left. It's open, transparent. I wasn't, because I was doing it right. If, people that try and cheat on their sales tax reporting, are like, well, I don't know, I better get a lawyer. You can't look at this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, here, just look at it. I mean, it's a plus and minus. It's not like it's something they could misconstrue and be like, oh, well, you owe $1 million. It's like, earned, paid, earned, paid, earned, paid, billed, invoiced, paid. It's pretty simple. Same thing with USAID. We took in this money and we put it out there. We gave it to some transvestite calendar club in Peru. Sorry, Jesus. I think that's where it was or something like that.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that, okay, so check this out. Now, we're now starting to go into the Treasury Department records. And this is where we're really going to see some real, I think...
Where did that $1 billion go?
Yeah, exactly. Where did that $1 trillion go?
Right.
Where
Exactly.
because remember, there's a lot more money. So check this out. And dude, you have judges stepping in, getting involved in this one. So this is what it is. So the judge who issued a temporary restraining order to block the Department of Government Efficiency from accessing the Treasury Department records, which relates to the broader context of Doge's efforts, including USAID, is Judge Paul Engelmeyer. This information is based on recent I tell you, it's so much easier to read when you have glasses on.
It's great because you don't sound like a first grader.
So the information is based on recent web context and posts on X discussing the legal actions against Doge activity. So it is absolutely amazing that the fact is that you're seeing a judge, high-ranking federal judge, step in and go, right? No, because I said so. And then all the videos of the people who are protesting when libertarians, and a lot of these are actually libertarians or just people who just want to know what's going on, go up to those even being rude, which I find there's literally like probably 10 to 15 videos of just different people saying, why is it wrong for the people to question this? Should they be able to audit? And I'm shocked.
What right of a judge it is to stop it when the Treasury is an agency that the president is ultimately in control of. He's in control of Doge. He said, "You guys go check that out." And I think they should ignore the judge as a separation of powers and say, "No, you can't tell us what to do internally."
Well, he actually has the power to do it. The judge actually doesn't because it's two different systems.
Right. That's what I mean. The judge can rule on it. And the president would be like, "No, I'm the president. That's my department over there. I'm going to go do that, and there's nothing you can do about it. Send your army, to stop me, or send your police. If it goes to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court says we're not sure you have the power to create Doge in the first place without congressional approval. That's one thing, but it's just some lower. It
was already created.
Right. It was just some lower level judge. Well, there's a difference between Congress creating it and the president just saying, "I have this new office." That's it's different. If Congress creates it and authorizes it to do things based on law, that's different than the president just saying, "Go doing that." But it's internal. It's it's just him dealing one agency with another. Then they should. And not only that, but the Trump's appointee, Scott Bessert, whatever his last name is, he should just publicly come out and say, "No, I've invited Doge in, and so Mr. Judge, you can go piss off," because we're going to see expenditures that are not good. Not good at all.
I'm looking forward to it, and I hope we're wrong. I actually love to sit there and say, "Oh, I guess we were wrong. They ain't that bad," right? Like I would love to be able to sit there and say, when we go check out the military budget and where it's being displaced. I know personally that the amount of stuff that they throw away, that if you do not use more than your budget or up to your budget, the amount of waste and fraud is so far. When I say fraud, I shouldn't use that. It's just that the system itself is set up to be wasteful. Because if you're not a good steward of handling or if you are a good steward of handling your budget, they take it away. If you can save money, then they give you less money.
It's just one of those government principles in which they would say, "Wait, what? So you were more efficient. We needed you to do this, but you were more efficient, so you came in here. But next year they still need you to do this. So give them the same budget, and if they come in again, you give the guy a promotion. You keep coming in under budget." And then, after a little while, they say, "All right, we've consistently been underspending in that. Now let's reduce the budget in that." Or give them a goal, reduce it further. There's business cases here, not government cases. People say, "Oh, it's," even the swamp creature said, "It's different in government. You have government bureaucrats that can just sit there and say, I'm not doing that because you can't fire me. And I don't want to do it, and I'm going to go on vacation, and I'm the only one that can sign to do that." So, in government, things can come to a grinding halt. And that's why I think Elon and crew are out there saying, chop and start over. Let's chop and start over. Pedro, I don't know if you can hear it, but we got the outro music playing here.
I heard it.
It's time to go, ladies and gentlemen. We had a good show today. Like I said, look for the AI Life on Wednesday from us. It'll be a good episode with Steve Rodrigue from Legit. And then also Full Rant Friday if Pedro so chooses. And we should also have another episode of this Crypto Swamp Creatures out. So everybody, on behalf of Pedro, Garcia, and I, have a great day. Trade smartly, trade well. If you always go back and rewatch our show, preferably from a different account so we get another credit for review, and listen to Pedro's ideas and teachings about that. So everyone, have a good week. We'll see you soon.